The Kia Sportage. It's one of those SUVs that you see everywhere in the UK, and for good reason. It nails the practicality, the style and the brand trust. But with electrification becoming the norm, can the Sportage Hybrid still feel fresh and relevant? This is the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid, and the car that I'm driving today is the GT-Line version, powered by the 1.6-litre turbo petrol engine, plus hybrid assist. Finished in blue flame, it looks sharp. But the real question is, how does it feel on our UK roads, now with all of Kia's updates? In this video, I'm going to find out. I'll test it where it matters, on everyday drives, through B roads, and in those sharper corners of life that separate just good from really good. But first, why don't we start with seeing what's new? Hi guys, my name's Tish and welcome back to Auto Social UK. In today's video, we'll be putting the latest generation of Kia Sportage through its paces and showing you the updates for this latest gen. So if that sounds good, then please keep watching. And if you like new car reviews and car content, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. To the casual eye, the updated Sportage might not scream all new, but Kia has sharpened its lines and added touches that just help it age better. The front end gets more presence. You have a broader tiger nose grille and new star map LED headlights stacked vertically, and also a redesigned bumper that adds a more assertive face to the car. Down the sides, there's also fresh new alloy wheel designs. This GT line gets 19 inches. There's also revisions to the door cladding and also tidier window surrounds. Around the rear you have a revised bumper and a slim light bar that gives it a more modern silhouette. It's an evolution, not a revolution, but it's one that gives the Sportage more visual confidence without alienating existing owners. The Sportage lineup is now simplified, so there are three trims: Pure, GT-Line and GT-Line S. Pure brings LED lighting, 17-inch wheels and the 12.3-inch infotainment system as standard. Step up to the GT-Line like this one and you get sportier styling, 19-inch wheels, you get heated front seats and upgraded interior finishes. The GT-Line S sits at the top of the range with features like ventilated seats, panoramic sunroof, 360-degree cameras and a digital key 2.0. Powertrains include a 1.6 TDGI petrol and a hybrid, and soon also a plug-in hybrid. You can opt for all-wheel drive on higher specs, but many UK buyers will just stick with the front-wheel drives for efficiency. Inside is where Kia has made a little more subtle progress, and where I think the comparisons between cars like the Peugeot 3008 and the Citroën C5 Aircross help to highlight both the strengths and also the shortcomings of this car. Those cars push interior themes harder, bold textures, dramatic layouts and daring colour accents. Kia has chosen restraint over showmanship, and in this update I see both gains and also some missed chances. The cabin layout is familiar, clean and functional, and Kia has improved material quality, especially in this GT line spec, with bio leather and suede, plus heated steering wheel. The feel is far more premium than in the older models, and there's also a calm confidence here. The 12.3-inch touchscreen uses Kia's new ccNC software, which is snappier, cleaner and supports over-the-air updates. It also brings in ChatGPT voice assistant, meaning that you can ask the car questions while driving. In real-world use, it's clever, but occasional misinterpretations remind you that it's still early days in this technology. Then there's the Kia Connect store, which allows you to download apps like Netflix, Disney Plus and YouTube. It's a clever idea, especially as we move towards cars doubling as mobile lounges. But here, it's a chargeable extra. Now, I do understand why Kia has taken that approach. After all, this does have a slightly lower price tag, but it is worth noting that the Genesis GV60 that I recently reviewed, that actually gives you 3 years for free as standard. But like I said, that is a significantly more expensive car, but it's a small detail that highlights how premium brands are starting to package their tech differently. And I have to give a highlight to this new Kia steering wheel. Once again, it has the same steering wheel which we've seen in things like the Kia EV3. You also see it in the Kia EV9, so a lot of it's electric products. And it's just such a lovely combination of looking sleek and stylish, but also very practical as well. So you have this combination of the light leather and then the dark leather on the outside, and then you have lots of lovely buttons. You've got these heavy weighted scrollers, and you also have physical drive mode button, which makes using those drive modes when driving so much easier than when they're buried in the touchscreen. Underneath the bonnet of this hybrid, you've got Kia's 1.6 litre turbo petrol engine, paired with a 44.2 kilowatt electric motor and a 1.49 kilowatt hour battery, sending power to the front wheels via a 6-speed automatic, and total output is 235 PS. The hybrid system is among some of the smoother ones in this class. Transitions between the engine and the electric are well handled, and the automatic gearbox is more natural than many hybrid alternatives. Its responsiveness in everyday driving is great, though if you push it hard, the engine noise does become more pronounced than perhaps you'd hope in a car aiming for refinement. Fuel efficiency is one of the strong suits. Combined figures of around 50 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions from 126 grams per kilometre are competitive, especially given the added power. This is also a self-charging hybrid, so no fuss of plugging it in. It regenerates the power whilst you're driving, and you can even adjust it using the paddles on the steering wheel. This GT-Line model is front-wheel drive, though all-wheel drive is available on the higher spec, and a plug-in hybrid will also arrive later on for those who want short range in pure electric driving. On the move, the Sportage Hybrid carries itself with quiet assurance. The hybrid system slips in and out of electric and petrol modes so seamlessly that you sometimes forget what source is actually powering you. Now, in everyday driving, this is really where this car shines. Electric assist kicks in to smooth the throttle response in stop and go, and the engine stays calm and composed at cruising speeds. That said, the ride does have a slight firmness at lower speeds over uneven surfaces, and potholes and speed bumps can feel a bit sharper in this GT line with the 19-inch wheel configuration. It's not uncomfortable, but you do feel more of the road than in some of its luxury rivals. But steering is light and easy, which is great for parking and city driving. And at higher speeds, it does start to lose that tactile feedback. You don't ever feel bad about where the wheels are pointing, but you also don't get that connected feeling with more driver-focused SUVs offer. The performance is adequate rather than exhilarating. When you plant your foot, the Sportage delivers, but it isn't dramatic. It's more about smooth progress than aggressive bursts. Refinement in this car is a real highlight. Wind noise is well contained on motorway pace, and tyre noise is minimal, and the shifts between that electric and the petrol are not noticeable unless you really floor it. It's almost like the car is encouraging you to drive gently, and when you drive like that, it rewards you with a calm, efficient drive. While it's not going to excite the enthusiast, it gives you a relaxed, polished, everyday drive with very few weaknesses. Now, while the overall size of the Sportage hasn't really changed with this facelift, of course it's still a key part of its appeal, especially for families. At just over 4.5 metres long, 1.8 metres wide and 1.65 metres tall, it sits bang in the middle of the family SUV segment. That makes it slightly shorter than a Peugeot 3008, but it's actually longer than a Nissan Qashqai, so it feels roomy inside without being cumbersome on narrow roads or tight car parks. The wheelbase of 2.68 metres is one of the longest in its class, which helps maximise that rear legroom and stability at higher speeds. In real-world use, it's a sweet spot. Big enough to handle the school runs and family holidays, yet compact enough to still feel easy to manoeuvre from day to day. Storage is somewhere where the Sportage always excels, and that's what's so good about this being a family car. You want a really practical family car. So inside here you have a really deep cubby hole. You also have a 12-volt charger in there, and then in the centre you have these lovely customisable cup holders, so you can pop them out and create them as cup holders or store them away if you need extra storage. Up front you have a wireless charging pad, a little bit of extra storage, and you've got two USB-C chargers behind there. You also have a really decent sized glove box, and you'll also have nice deep door cards as well. So practicality is very good. If you've watched my recent Citroen C5 Aircross video, I mentioned in that review that the rear doors could open wider, and this is what I'm talking about. This is almost at a 90-degree angle, and that makes getting child seats in really easy, or just loading people into the back. Now, once inside, like I said, with that almost class-leading wheelbase for the size of car, you get a really good level of legroom and a good amount of headroom as well. But what makes this car special is the thoughtful little touches. So on the backs of the seats, we've got these little hooks. You also have seat pockets. You'll find rear climate control in a car of this size. You've also got the USBs, which are on the backs of the seats, which I always quite like. There's a decent level of storage inside of the doors. You have a pull down armrest, which has a couple of cup holders, and you'll find 2 ISOFIX fitments in the back here. The only thing that would make it a little bit better was maybe to have built-in rear blinds, but other than that, it's a very competitive rear cabin. And like the rear space, boot practicality has also always been a strong suit for the Sportage, and this hybrid version is no different. So despite the additional battery and also the electric motor, you still get a generous 587 litres of boot space, which expands to 1,776 litres with the rear seats folded flat. That's more room than you'll find in the Nissan Qashqai or the Hyundai Tucson, and it's right up there with the class leaders. The boot floor is wide and square. There's minimal load lip, and there's also clever touches like a reversible boot floor and underfloor storage that make it properly family friendly. Whether it's pushchairs, luggage or the weekly shop, the Sportage Hybrid is one of the most accommodating cars in its class, and crucially, you don't lose out on space just because it's a hybrid. The one thing I would say is this GT-Line. I wish it had an electric boot. So, what do I make to the updated Kia Sportage in its hybrid form? Well, it's not perfect. It doesn't leapfrog the competition in every way. The interior, whilst improved in quality, is conservative compared to more daring rivals like the Peugeot 3008 or the Citroen C5 Aircross, and it lacks some steering depth of feel. The ride at low speeds can feel a little bit firm when the road is rough. And also, that infotainment's paywall for streaming apps may divide opinions, especially when you consider more premium rivals like the Genesis GV60 actually includes 3 years free for their models. But the strengths are the real and meaningful ones: refined hybrid transitions, good fuel efficiency, a comfortable and quiet cabin, excellent practicality, and a reputation for dependability for value. For most people, that balance is exactly what they want: a capable, comfortable, sensible SUV that you can live with day to day. So if you're in the market for a hybrid SUV that gets the fundamentals right and gives you a lot of smart enhancements without gimmicks, then the Sportage Hybrid absolutely deserves to be on your shortlist. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below. Would you pick the hybrid, the petrol, or even the plug-in version, which is coming later? I can't wait to see you in the next one. Until next time, see you later.